There's a battle that leaves no visible scars, yet it exhausts more than any external war. It is the battle of those who smile, work, and talk as if everything is normal, while inside, anxiety never gives them a break. And here comes an uncomfortable truth. Often, the strongest ones, the chosen by God, are the ones who suffer the most in silence. Not because they are weak, but because they learned too early how to control themselves, swallow emotions, and look fine when everything inside is chaos. Maybe you're watching this right now thinking, no one has any idea what I carry. Racing thoughts, constant mental control, self-control pushed to the limit, and still the feeling that it's never enough. But what if anxiety isn't your enemy? What if it's a clear sign that something needs to change, not outside, but within you? If at any point you felt the need to hide what you feel so you wouldn't worry anyone, comment below, "I fight in silence." Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this isn't for the curious, it's for those who live this every day and truly want to learn how to calm anxiety, develop self-awareness, and regain the balance that once felt lost. There is a kind of silent strength that almost no one notices, and it often lives in the chosen, especially the chosen by God, who learned early how to function normally. They wake up, work, talk, laugh at the right moments, keep their promises, all while their mind runs in circles. On the outside, balance. On the inside, anxiety trying to take the wheel. It's like driving with warning lights flashing and pretending everything is under control. Ironically, the better the mask, the less help arrives. Those who live like this develop an impressive mental control, almost automatic, born from forced self-control. They learn to take deep breaths before responding, to smile when their chest tightens, to keep going when the body begs for rest. Slowly, calming anxiety becomes a daily mission carried out in silence, without an audience. God sees it, but the world doesn't. And that's where the danger lies. The person starts believing that feeling too much is weakness, when in reality, it's refined sensitivity. No one imagines how much it costs to look fine. That sentence isn't drama, it's an emotional diagnosis. Many chosen by God pay this price thinking it's normal to live in a constant state of alert. But this ability to endure everything doesn't come from nowhere. It's born from inner battles no one applauds. And understanding what truly happens inside completely changes how we see this silent struggle. Behind a calm appearance, the minds of many chosen ones operate at full speed. Racing thoughts collide. Scenarios are created before facts even happen, and anxiety shows up uninvited. It's not a lack of faith in God, nor a lack of inner strength. It's the brain trying to protect, anticipating dangers that often don't exist. The problem is that living in this mode drains energy like an engine constantly pushed to the limit. There is also the faceless fear, the one that appears out of nowhere, accompanied by a constant sense of alert. The body is sitting still, but the mind is running a marathon. The exhaustion isn't physical, it's mental, deep, and hard to explain. Many chosen by God believe that if they just think a little more, they'll manage to calm anxiety and regain control. But overthinking rarely brings rest. Sometimes it only tightens the knot. This isn't weakness, it's excessive self-control used as defense. Mental control becomes heavy armor, effective on the outside, suffocating on the inside. God knows this invisible effort, but the person often doesn't realize they're fighting alone against something that needs to be understood, not fought. And when they understand why this struggle is hidden, a lot of guilt begins to fall away. Many chosen ones learned early on that feeling too much invites judgment. So instead of speaking, they store it away. Instead of asking for help, they smile. There's a silent fear of appearing weak, unstable, or less spiritual, especially among the chosen by God. Anxiety in this context isn't just internal, it's social. It's the fear of hearing shallow phrases like, "it's all in your head," which hurt more than they help. Another reason is the genuine desire not to worry anyone. Those who carry this struggle are often the emotional caretakers, the strong ones of the group, the ones who always endure a little more. Self-control becomes the rule, and mental control gets confused with maturity. But behind that, there's someone trying to calm anxiety without bothering anyone, as if their own suffering were a burden to others. Over time, this silence becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. The person starts believing they were born this way, that it's normal to live tense. God sees this contained pain, but the world applauds the strong posture. And it's precisely this contradiction that creates deep empathy among those who live this reality, because when no one notices, the inner battle intensifies in ways few can imagine. When anxiety isn't spoken, it doesn't disappear, it hides. Many chosen ones move through life accumulating tension, like pressure stored in a sealed container. On the outside, everything seems under control thanks to years of trained self-control. On the inside, the body stays on alert, as if something bad could happen at any moment. And the most dangerous part is when this becomes routine. The problem isn't being strong, it's never lowering your guard. The chosen by God often believe that enduring in silence is a sign of spiritual maturity. But living constantly tense comes with a silent cost. Exhaustion becomes permanent, and calming anxiety feels increasingly difficult. Mental control still works, but it no longer brings peace, only emotional survival. Without alarmism, just truth. When no one notices the signs, the person stops noticing them too. God remains present, but the body starts screaming in other ways. At this point, silent anxiety stops being just discomfort and starts shaping decisions, relationships, and limits. And some signs, though subtle, begin to show up in daily life. Silent anxiety rarely shows itself in obvious ways, which is why so many chosen ones take so long to recognize it. One of the first signs is irritability at unexpected moments, impatience that appears without a clear reason. Sleep also changes. The mind doesn't shut down even when the body begs for rest. For the chosen by God, this often comes with a constant need to keep everything under control. Another common sign is the inability to truly relax. The person tries, but feels guilty for stopping. Self-control becomes automatic, and mental control never clocks out. Overthinking before every decision starts to look like responsibility, when in fact it's anxiety trying to predict every possible risk. Calming anxiety in this scenario always feels like something to do later. Perhaps the most invisible sign is the inner phrase, just a little more. One more day, one more obligation, one more pressure. God watches this silent endurance, but the body begins to send small warnings. And when these signs are ignored for too long, the cost of being strong all the time begins to show more deeply. Being constantly strong seems like a virtue, especially among chosen ones who learned not to fail. But there is an invisible price being paid every day. Exhaustion doesn't arrive all at once. It slowly infiltrates, stealing energy, focus, and lightness. Anxiety starts coexisting with deep fatigue even after a full night's sleep. Self-control, once admirable, begins to feel heavy. Over time, a subtle emotional distance appears. Simple things lose their shine, conversations become shallow, and pleasure gives way to obligation. Many chosen by God try to compensate by tightening mental control even more, as if thinking right could fix feeling wrong. Calming anxiety becomes a distant goal because there's no space left for rest. The emptiness doesn't come from lack of faith in God, but from excess emotional responsibility. Strength without rest becomes a burden, not a virtue. And when this weight accumulates, anxiety stops being just a state and starts carrying an important message. Understanding what it's trying to say completely changes the direction of this silent struggle. Anxiety rarely appears to destroy. Most of the time it comes to warn. Many chosen ones spend years fighting it without realizing they're battling a signal, not an enemy. It's the body and mind saying something is out of balance. For the chosen by God, this often happens when limits are ignored in the name of responsibility, strength, or others' expectations. Instead of listening, the most common reaction is tightening self-control even more. More tasks, more guilt, more roles are taken on. Mental control becomes an attempt to silence emotions that need space. Repressed emotions, postponed rest, and excessive responsibilities pile up like unpaid bills. At this point, calming anxiety doesn't require more strength, it requires awareness. God doesn't use anxiety to punish, but to redirect. It points to where the rhythm is wrong, where the load has exceeded the limit. When this message starts being understood, something shifts inside. And it's this understanding that opens the path to the first real step out of the silent fight. The first step isn't defeating anxiety, it's recognizing it without guilt. Many chosen ones believe admitting what they feel is weakness, when in truth, it's a deep act of self-awareness. Naming what's happening inside already begins to relieve pressure. The chosen by God were not called to live in constant war with themselves, but in attainable balance. Stopping comparison is another quiet yet powerful change. Each person has their own rhythm, story, and limit. Excessive self-control often comes from invisible comparison with those who seem to handle everything better. Calming anxiety requires letting go of perfection and accepting real progress. A simple example: creating small daily pauses, like short walks, screen-free moments, or brief notes about what you feel. Allowing yourself to speak, even gradually, is also part of the process. It doesn't have to be everyone or all at once. It can start in prayer, writing, or with someone you trust. Mental control stops being a prison when it becomes a conscious tool. God honors this inner movement, and when it happens, something changes in how the person sees themselves and how they receive a direct message. If you've made it this far and felt a quiet tightness in your chest, this message is for you. Among so many chosen ones, there are those who fight anxiety every day without showing it. You learn to keep going, to function, to smile, even when your mind is crying for help. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And for the chosen by God, humanity isn't a flaw, it's an instrument. You may think you should handle it alone, that you've been through worse, or that you can't stop now. That thought comes from excess self-control, not truth. Calming anxiety doesn't mean losing mental control, but using it with more kindness. God doesn't see you as broken, but is tired of carrying more than you should. You're not late, not failing, not falling behind. Self-awareness begins when you stop demanding so much from yourself and start truly listening. And when that listening happens, something prepares to close this cycle with a clear invitation, not to silence, but to connection. After all this, a simple but powerful question remains. How many times have you, as one of the chosen, hidden what you felt so you wouldn't bother anyone? Silent anxiety grows exactly in the space where silence becomes habit. The chosen by God were not meant to fight alone, nor to live trapped in suffocating self-control. Calming anxiety begins when truth finds a voice, even in small steps. Maybe you recognized yourself in a detail, a subtle sign, or that constant feeling of just a little more. That's not coincidence, it's self-awareness knocking at the door. Mental control doesn't have to be a prison, it can be a bridge to lighter, more conscious choices. God honors those who look at themselves honestly, not those who erase themselves to appear strong. So leave a comment without fear. Do you usually hide what you feel? It can be a word, a short sentence, or even an emoji. Sometimes that's already a beginning. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this space exists for the chosen who fight in silence and need to remember they are not alone.
Everything said here only matters if it turns into movement. Knowledge that isn't applied becomes weight, not freedom. Anxiety doesn't decrease when you try to be stronger. It decreases when you become more aware. The chosen, especially the chosen by God, were not called to live in constant alert, but to learn self-awareness, boundaries, and real balance. Mental control should serve you, not imprison you. Now the question is direct. What can you practically change starting today? Slow down, speak your feelings, stop comparing yourself, or simply allow yourself to rest without guilt. Calming anxiety begins with small, consistent decisions. It's not about perfection, it's about honesty with yourself. True self-control includes knowing when to stop. So I challenge you, will you keep pretending everything is fine, or will you start truly respecting yourself? Comment which part of this video spoke to you the most. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because here you'll keep learning how to deal with your mind, your emotions, and your life without having to fight in silence.